Chapter 8, you've got Miss Maudie has a house fire. There's a lot of information, a lot of just storyline stuff that's going on with the house fire. But what you're supposed to see through this is that the town comes together in a time of crisis. You also see Atticus being level headed. The kids are standing down by the Radley gate. They're told not to move, not to go anywhere. Understand the fire is across the street from their house, so the wind blowing would put embers onto their house, wooden roof, wooden siding, hot, dry climate. Like this house, if the sparks get to it, their house is going to catch on fire. But Atticus, what you see of him, he's just standing there in the street, got his hands in his pockets, just standing there watching, calm, cool, collected. He's not worried. Right? The kids say it looks like he could be standing there watching a football game instead of watching a house burn down. So he's not worried. He doesn't he doesn't freak out in a time of crisis. He's level-headed. Right? It also shows Miss Maudie being so down to earth that she is not upset about her house burning down. She looks at it and says, it's okay. Now I can build a smaller house and have a bigger yard. So she's a person who looks towards the positive of things. It also shows her, even though she's going through this time of crisis, she takes the time to talk to the kids still. And Scout comments on that. Like, I couldn't believe it that she still was interested in the things that we did. So a big thing about this chapter is another part of Jem being growing up and understanding more and more of what's going on in the town. And essentially when they come home from the fire, Atticus says to Scout, like, I told you not to go anywhere. Where'd you get that blanket? And she looks down. She has a brown blanket wrapped around her shoulders. And she's like, I don't know. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't get this. And Jem and Atticus understand where it came from. And he says, well, looks like all of Maycomb was out tonight. Meaning Boo Radley. Boo Radley came out of his house, put that blanket around Scout's shoulders, because the kids are standing there in their pajamas watching this fire. They can't go back in their houses. He comes out and puts a blanket around her because she was shivering. For him to come out of the house to do that and risk being seen, risk being caught, is a huge deal. And Atticus is like, I'll get some paper and we'll wrap this up and give it back. And Jem just flips out, no, sir, we can't. And he just tells everything. He tells Atticus everything about the treasures in the tree, the cement being put in there by Mr. Nathan, Boo's brother. He tells him about the pants being on the fence and all sewn up and everything. I mean, he tells him everything that they've been doing, everything that's been happening. And Atticus is like, you know what? You're right. We'll just keep this to ourselves. He's not going to take the blanket back, because what would Mr. Nathan's reaction be? That Boo came out of the house. When everybody was out, he came out of the house? Okay. So, Scout, she's still clueless about the whole thing. She doesn't get any of it. She's like, maybe we can thank who? And then they have to explain it to her. And she's like sick to her stomach when she thinks about the fact that Boo Radley was right there. And Jem is just like, oh my gosh, if you had just turned around, you would have seen him. So this whole fascination with Boo Radley is still there. However, Jem has the understanding that he's not this wicked monster type person. He's tried to give them these treasures in the tree. He's tried to be a friend. And now he did something kind for Scout. So Jem's understanding is continuing to grow, showing his maturity. And that's about it for chapter 8.